Listen, did that child even tell you that the child wants to suck breast milk till 1 year old? We are in this together. Excuse me, bro, who is we? You want to have strategy, plan, vision on top of another person's breast? Like I would have told him like that. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today, guys, is a reaction video for you guys, a reaction video to the breastfeeding saga that happened yesterday between a couple, AKAH and Claire. They're here on YouTube, and they had this conversation that was filmed and was put on social media, and it went viral. And I just said that I had to react to it because I don't say anything will concern breastfeeding, motherhood, save your sanity, women's rights, all those kind of things. I carry them on top of my head. So I just said that I had to react to it. I had to say my mind about what I think happened and what went down with everything that happened. So if you're interested in hearing what went down, just keep watching. Okay, guys, so the breastfeeding saga video, that's what I'm titling it. So AKAH and Claire, a couple, they got married, had a baby about a month or 2 months ago, I think. They were having dinner or lunch. I really don't know what time of day it was that video was recorded, but they were having dinner or lunch or something, and they started a conversation, and somebody else was filming them. And after it was done, they decided to post it on social media and titled it "All Men Must See This" or something like that. Initially, when somebody sent it to me, I was just like, nah, I'm not watching that. Like, it was like 15 minutes long. I'm like, nah, I'm not watching that. And then, you know, more people kept sending it to me, and they're like, baby, you need to see this, you need to see this. And I was like, okay, I need to see it. So I sat down, watched it, digested it, watched it again with my husband, and then I was like, yeah, I need to do a reaction video. If you haven't seen the video, I'm sure it is somewhere online. Just search their names, Google their names, and you will watch the video somewhere, someplace, somehow. Exactly. So let me first start off by saying that I am glad that they had a conversation, or they are having conversations. That's something that I feel like a lot of couples need to start doing that they really do not do. So I'm glad that they have communication. I'm glad that they are having conversations, especially things like this, and especially as first-time parents, it could be a little overwhelming. So sometimes when you have communications and you talk to each other, it just makes things, you know, a lot more easier. I don't know if that's what really happens in their marriage. It's really none of my goddamn business, but I'm talking based on the video that I saw, and you know, it's really something I embrace. I actually even learned a lot from the wife. Our communication skills, man, is top notch. Like I need to learn to you know, be able to relate like that on different levels. So I learned from her, and you know, I like how they had a conversation. Now there's a whole nother conversation going on social media, that is it right for them to put it on social media. Listen, all of us, they put our life on top of social media every day in one way, one form or the other. So really, that's not even an argument that we're even supposed to be having. And these days, we're all here to share so that other people can learn. So it's fine that they decided to bring out all that on social media. Okay, there's a level of place that people are more comfortable with doing things than other people. So yeah, don't project on them. Now let me just first start by talking about breastfeeding. breastfeeding. You guys that are OGs on here, that you've watched me since I gave birth to my daughter till now, you people know that I am an advocate of breastfeeding is not a do or die affair. Initially, before I got married, before I had my child, I actually thought that breastfeeding was something that came naturally. I actually thought that breastfeeding was something that, you know, was a do or die affair. I actually thought that breastfeeding was something that would not even stress me in any way possible. But then I gave birth and found out that it was all wrong, and that is why it's been my mandate to always share with women now, through my reels, through my Instagram, through my YouTube channel, that it is not a do or die affair. You're not alone in this. There are so many women just like you. Everybody believes that, or most people believe that once you give birth, your breast milk just starts flowing. No, boo. No, boo boo. It happens for some people like that, but unfortunately for some of us, it did not happen like that. Mine took a couple of days before my breast milk started flowing, and even when it started flowing, it was not enough for my daughter. It was not satisfying her. You guys remember when I started pumping, and I explained to you, I made a video about it, I'll link it up here, and I explained to you that the reason why I started pumping was because I wanted to even know how much food my daughter was consuming. That was the main reason why I started pumping, because I just felt like she was not being satisfied. It was like she would breastfeed now and start crying. She would breastfeed and start crying, and that was why I started pumping. And then along the line was when I found out that pumping actually increases your milk supply. And even with that, I still struggled. You guys, you people know, I've said it several times, I struggled because I knew I was going back to work after 3 months, and I knew that I had to build a stash, or at least that's what social media tries to tell you. You know, you have all these beautiful pictures out there of women that have so much stash in their freezers and everything, and you're just like, God, this is, you know, this is the goal, this is the ultimate goal. I was able to do some of that, but I wasn't able to do as much. And I also know so many women that were not even able to pump. They tried and tried and tried, and you know, maybe due to wrong pumping parts or their nipples not just being able to, you know, pump like that, or so many things. There were just so many factors that did not allow a lot of women pump. There were also so many factors that did not allow a woman's milk supply increase. First off, if you're anemic, you cannot have a lot of breast milk. I was just taking iron supplements. Yes, it was there at some points, but it was not as much as some people's flowing. And I'm sure there are some people that were much worse than I am too, that, you know, their breast milks were not flowing. So in that situation, what do you then do? Do you let your baby starve? You can't let your baby starve. The most important thing is that your baby is fed. I don't know, our society has made it like, once you start giving your kid formula, oh, you know, that's bad. You know, the World Health Organization says you have to exclusively breastfeed for 6 months, but that's not the reality, you guys. What of those kids that their moms died at birth? You say, oh, that's an extreme case. What of a case where the woman cannot lactate? There are cases like that where the woman cannot lactate. There are women that even started off lactating and then their breasts got sore, their nipples got sore, and you know, it was peeling and there was blood. Are you still going to tell that child to latch onto that place that has blood? Or you're still going to tell that woman to put a pumping part there and be in so much excruciating pain to pump? The reality of what society has turned breastfeeding in is not what it actually is in a lot of cases. So, and that is why I keep coming here every opportunity I get. I keep telling women and men out there especially, because I don't know why they just think that it is automatic, it is magic. My mother breastfed, so you must breastfeed. My sister's breastfed, so you must breastfeed. I'm not your sister, I'm not your mother. We all come from different genes, different genotypes, different, you know, different things, different hormones, different things working in our bodies. So you can't expect the same thing that your sister did for me to do the same thing. That's the reality. Breastfeeding, if you cannot, please save your sanity, because I have seen women go through so much mentally because of this. They can't breastfeed and they're just, I went through it. I was just like, what is this? Is something wrong with me? This is supposed to be something that will come naturally. Why can't I do it? Am I a bad mom for? No, you are not. You're not a bad mom. And you as a man, your wife is not a bad wife for not being able to breastfeed your child. And you also know that when you stress a woman mentally, the breast milk is not going to come out. Even when I'm pumping, I have to look at pictures of my daughter. I have to be in a place. I like to pump in the middle of the night when it's so serene, there's no noise, I can think, I can relax, and that's when I had much more flow. So mental balance also helps with, you know, you producing breast milk and all that. So let's just put that aside, and I have said all that. That is what breastfeeding is, and pumping and all that great stuff. The most important thing, like I said, is that your child should be fed. There's nothing that is going to happen to them. Absolutely nothing evil will happen to them if they take formula. Okay, so now let's go to the actual breastfeeding saga video. Now, AKAH told his wife, I guess, that he wanted her to breastfeed their daughter for 1 year. I guess, you know, he's read World Health Organization. Everybody says, oh, a child should, you know, take breast milk for 1 year. Maybe his mom did it, his sisters did it, and all that stuff. And he has seen, you know, social media promote all this, oh, lactation cookies, this, that. And so he's telling his wife that he wants her to breastfeed their child for a year. The wife is trying to explain to him that, listen, our child is just, I don't even know, 1 month or 2 months, 2 months old. And I'm just even trying to get through the day. I'm trying to get through the day to even, like, let her just breastfeed all through the day. You know, because he also was talking about how, oh, because he wants his daughter to take breast milk for 1 year, the wife has to start pumping and building a stash. I think he already has this mental picture in his head of all these pictures that he sees on social media, like, you know how women stock their freezers with breast milk. But the reality is that it's not all women that it works for like that. So he was telling his wife that he wanted that, and you know, she was like, listen, I'm just trying to get through the day. I'm just trying to get through a week of my child constantly breastfeeding from me. You can't say, oh yeah, just sit down there like a milking machine. Oh yeah, be pumping, so that you can have 6 months supply or 6 months worth or 6 months stash of breast milk, so that, you know, our daughter can suck breast milk to 1 year old. Listen, did that child even tell you that the child wants to suck breast milk to 1 year old? You will be so amazed in this life that these children are very, very funny. My daughter stopped breastfeeding at about 8 months, 9 months. I was sad when she stopped, and I had a stash. I would go to work, I would come back. The people that were taking care of my daughter would tell me that my daughter was not drinking my stash. She did not want breast milk that, you know, that was in the freezer and you thaw and you give it to her. She did not want it. Whenever I got back from work and I carried her for her to breastfeed from me, she also wasn't taking it. She stopped at 8 months, 9 months. There are babies that I have heard of. I have friends that their children stopped taking breast milk at 4 months. They just stopped. They didn't want it again. It is going to be a rude awakening for AKAH. Maybe if by the time he sees that, it's maybe at 5 months or 6 months, his daughter is like, no, I don't want breast milk again. Can you start giving me formula? What then happens? What does he then do? Do you force the child to drink the milk just like that? The milk that the child does not want? I saw something on social media yesterday where somebody was saying, oh, this is a great conversation. Before you guys get married, you people need to talk about this breastfeeding thing, so that if your wife said that she does not want to breastfeed for 6 months, you can know that it's okay for you to be a deal breaker. Did that child tell you that they want to breastfeed for 6 months? I have a friend right now, I think her baby is about 3 or 4 months old. The baby does not like sucking directly from the breast. The baby likes sucking milk from the bottle, so she has to pump. Now, get this. She's pumping, right, and she's establishing milk, but she can't even pump and put in the freezer because the baby does not like the milk that you thaw from the freezer. The baby will not take that. The baby wants freshly pumped milk in a bottle. She's watching this video. When she told me, I was like, what? She said yes. That she has started building stash, but anytime she's not around and they bring it out from the freezer and they thaw it and, you know, it's really nice and everything, and they give it to the baby, she will reject it. But pump the milk out fresh in a bottle, like it's still warm, room temperature, and give it to her, she will collect. Carry the baby to latch her on for her to suck from the breast, she's not going to collect. These children are very, very funny. 2, your wife is not a milking machine, she's not a pumping machine. And that was what she was trying to explain to him, that she felt like there were better ways for him to communicate this to her. And apparently this wasn't even the first time they were having this conversation. I personally feel from that whole video that he wasn't listening to her at all. He just wanted to pass his point across. After all, every woman does it. Why shouldn't you be able to do it? And the woman was trying to explain to him that, listen, there's a lot that I'm going through mentally. You even talking to me like this is even going to affect my stash. My mental ability for me to produce is even going to affect it. So I'm just trying to get through day 1. I'm just trying to get through a week, a month, and you're already giving me ultimatums of 1 year. Just like that. You know, I felt like the communication in a way in that video was one-sided. She was communicating appropriately, but he wasn't just listening. It's like he already had this idea in his head mentally that this is what it's supposed to be, and that's just it. I just really hope and pray that he unlearns and is more supportive. And I think that is why emotional intelligence is very, very important in a marriage, even in life, because all he just had to do was just sit down and listen and just nod his head and be supportive. But then he kept saying like, we are in this together. Excuse me, bro, who is we? Who is we? And I like how she told him that, is it your breast? He's not your breast. He's not his breast that the breast milk is going to come from. He's not the one that is going to sit down there for hours pumping. He's not the one that the baby is going to latch on. So who is we at the end of the day? You have to be more supportive about it. You have to, oh yes, we are in this together. So you have to be more like, oh babe, you're doing a good job. Oh babe, well done. Oh Pele, what can I help you with? What can I do? It's not, have you pumped today? When are you pumping? Oh, you know we need a stash. Excuse me? That's not we. That's not we at all and at all, because none of the pumping and bringing out the breast milk and storing is anything that you can do. It is all me. So when you say we are in this together, nah bro, it's just me. And that's why I'm just going to say that no matter how supportive a man is, a woman's experience is not something that you can speak over because you're not experiencing it. The best thing to do is just have emotional intelligence, sit down and be supportive. Pele, kushe, things like that. You might think that, oh, you're helping by, masking all this inclusivity words like we, oh, we, that kind of thing. But you're not helping in any way. You're just, the way to help is by being supportive emotionally. This whole breast milk and pumping and feeding thing, it's not, it shouldn't be too stressful on a woman. The woman is already going through a lot. I mean, she just popped out a baby. She's also thinking about how to run the home. She's also thinking about, how to take care of the child. The list of things that she needs is a man giving her ultimatums and saying, I need my baby to breastfeed for a year. That's like, it's not even going to help them in any way possible. I remember he said something about, oh, nobody has been more supportive throughout your pregnancy, throughout your childbirth than me. Excuse me, who else is supposed to be more supportive? He was talking about it like as if it was a trophy that he wanted. Who else? Nobody you do, MJ. Who else was supposed to be more supportive than you, bro? He was even talking about that he's a leader. He needs to have a vision and a plan and a strategy on how to build this stash, on how to make this thing possible. Excuse me, on top of another person's breast. You want to have strategy, plan, vision on top of another person's breast? Nah. Please, I beg. I beg. But at the end of the day, I'm glad that they were able to have this conversation. And also, I'm even glad that they even brought it out on social media, because different people started, apart from the people that were bashing them, but different people started giving, like, different opinions about breastfeeding. And I hope and I pray that AKAH is able to unlearn some of these things. And I also pray that some other men, because I know there's so many men that think that way, and it's not to just breastfeed, it's not to just breastfeed, it's not to just pump. So I know there are other men that think that way, and I hope that they can also unlearn this whole it looks like they are being there, or it looks like they are being supportive, but they really are not. I love Claire's communication skills. Like, wow, I would have, in fact, it would have been a basbo situation if it was more like lie to him, like I would have told him like that. But that's why I said I also learned some things from her, and I really appreciate that video. At the time, she also even apologized for something when he said, oh, you hurt me, you shouldn't have said something like that. And she apologized, I think twice, but I never heard Oga apologize. So maybe he apologized off camera, but I never heard him apologize. And I feel like Claire deserves an apology. I feel like she deserves an apology, because according to her, this is not even the first time they've had this conversation. So Oga, she has told you not once, not twice, that this thing is not easy, but you still insist that you will say the things you want to say. I just felt like taking the apple that I was eating and stoning it on his head. I'm just joking. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about this whole breastfeeding saga. What do you guys think? Have you seen the video? What do you think about the video? What do you think about this whole breastfeeding thing? Share with me, what is your breastfeeding story? Were you able to breastfeed for 1 year? Were you able to breastfeed for 1 month? Just let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching this reaction video. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Yeah, if you have a question, anything you want to say, leave it in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.